business to make them establish. So my guests and I bring you messages to establish what you know and need to know in the present. And also, I like working with angels and the calmness they bring. Now, in a moment, I will introduce you to my wonderful guest, Mellissa Tong. But before that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching the show live at a later date, as it means a lot to me to connect with like-minded women. Now, if you've never met before, then my name is Rae, and I love to help women to crossroads in their life, heal their past, create their future, and transform their present, so they can take charge of their destiny in the here and now. I'm the founder of Radiant Angel Energy, and I use future life progression, past life regression, angelic Reiki, angel oracle cards, guided meditation, hypnosis to help women who feel lost get clear on their reason for being here. And I've also created several transformational packages, a journey through lifetimes, as well as a 6-week guided meditation series to help you step into confidence. Now, each episode of the show covers various themes of your journey, a mini guided meditation or angel oracle card reading, with the wisdom of my wonderful guests, like today's guest, Mellissa Tong, about how to answer to your true calling and live your purpose. Now, Mellissa is a 3-time #1 Amazon bestselling author, award-winning storyteller, and founder CEO of creative marketing and content production company Duck Punk Productions Inc. I do love that. She has crafted over 1,200 stories for Fortune 500 companies such as Nissan, Verizon, Wells Fargo, Walmart, to name but a few. Now, with over 25 years of both in front and behind the camera experience on storytelling, she has raised sales up to 400% for her customers and won many awards, including Clio, Addy Telly, and the Best of Business in Video Production for 9 consecutive years, starting in 2012. Now, not only has she achieved all this, but she also helps her clients find their true calling. A Pablo Picasso quote: "The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away," is a mantra that Mellissa firmly believes in. So without further delay, hello, Mellissa, and welcome to the Angels and Destiny show. How are you today?
I'm great, Ray. Thanks for having me today.
Ah, you're welcome. So before we get into this fascinating conversation, I want to remind you that not only can you share this video, but you can also ask questions, leave comments and thoughts, as both Mellissa and I want to be part of this conversation. So please do not be shy. So Mellissa, why don't you tell us more about your journey and how we can answer to our true calling and live our purpose?
It's a great question, right? It's something that we all yawn and long for, but sometimes, it takes a while to get there. And then for me, it's actually taken quite a long time to finally get here. And I'll tell you how. So ever since I was a little girl, I was always fascinated with movies. But little did I know that I would actually ended up doing storytelling and doing it as a living. So I remember there were days that, okay, so let me back up a little bit. So when I said I was fascinated with stories, so I grew up I'm the first grandchild in both my mom and my dad's side. So growing up, I had a lot of, older relatives on both sides. And my mom on many occasions, because, I because I was the first grandchild, right? I'm the first grandchild. So I was the only child in the room, and she would make me sit there and listen to all the adults talking. So I would just sit there listening to all and watching all the adults exchanging their fascinated, colorful stories. That's how I grew up. But then when I got older, I started going to movie theaters and watching movies. And I remember there were days that when I walked out of the movie theater, I just felt like, wow, my whole world was just transformed, and I just felt so content, so free, and so fulfilled at the same time. But of course, I was too young to know, right? That was, my calling. So
Yeah.
fast forward, I went into music composition. That was my college major, and I minored in English literature. So again, I had no clue. I really enjoyed music composition because I'm a creative person. I like to create things, from scratch. So I had a lot of fun doing that. I ended up doing a lot of music for film, for TV, and for dance and theater. So, and then I moved to the States. I was born and raised in Hong Kong, a British colony at the time. So I moved to the States in 1991, and I pursued an MFA degree. And again, I did not even look at storytelling. So after I finished my MFA degree, I got an opportunity to work as a TV news anchor, reporter, and producer at one of the very first satellite TV stations in the US at
Wow.
the time, called the International Channel. So after I got hired, they said, okay, we don't want you to cover any hard news. We only want you to do soft news. So we're going to give you a 5-minute human interest segment. Okay. You go cover whatever you want, but just don't touch hard news. Any human interest stories. I say, great. So I did everything from health, beauty, technology, um, health, beauty, technology, science, community stories. I created a Friday segment just on entertainment. So I would go to a lot of movie premieres, interview stars, celebrities, and bring the stories back. So in those 4 years, I covered over 1,200 stories.
Wow.
That's a lot. And again, so I was already doing it, but without realizing I was doing it. So fast forward, I realized my heart was not really in news, and I really fell in love with producing. So I got over to the fiction side and worked on a CBS show called Martial Law from 98 to 2000. After the show, I decided to branch out on my own and started my own company, Duck Punk. So that was I started my company in 2000, and I have been, doing independent movies, documentaries, and TV commercials and branded content for Fortune 500 companies. So yes, I was completely in storytelling, but yeah, it never dawned on me, right?
Yeah.
So finally, a few years ago, I was looking to do more than just creating content. Because when I look around, I realize that a lot of businesses don't understand the concept of storytelling. And if you don't understand the concept of storytelling, there is no way you can bring it in your business to help you build a brand, drive sales, and gain more customers. So I started working with smaller businesses. And the more I work with small and medium sized businesses, I realize, wow, I'm really good at, not only am I good at storytelling, but I'm really good at marrying purpose with commerce.
Brilliant.
So, but like I said, it took me 20, yeah, it took me almost 25 years. I'm going on 28 now. It took me almost 25 years to realize, wow, so I am a good storyteller. Because before I thought, back then when I was in my TV days, okay, I thought I'm a good interviewer, right?
Yeah.
Which I still am. I'm very good at talking people and getting to the core, of what I needed to know and help them. And then I thought, okay, I was producing for like, I mean, a long time, since the beginning almost. So I thought I was really good at producing. And then I started directing. So I thought, okay, yeah, I'm a really good producer director. And then I got into public speaking. I did a lot of training, for a lot of utility companies like SoCal Gas and Diego Gas and Electric. And I spoke at the, LA Mayor's office. So that, okay, yeah, I'm a pretty good speaker. I can talk about storytelling. But still, like I said, it just never dawned on me that, wow, I am completely a storyteller. And before, I would just do storytelling on video, but now I'm doing storytelling on all kinds of medium, right? It can be video, it can be website, it can be speaking, it can be a brochure. Presentations, pitches. I do a lot of storytelling on pitches as well. So it's just depending on what you want how you want to tell the story. But basically, everything is about storytelling. So it actually still fascinates me every day that it took me that long to get here. And I hope, whoever is listening, it won't take you this long to get to your purpose.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes it can take absolutely ages because also you've got everything else going on in your life as well that kind of like takes you away from what it is you want to do. Whether that's family or friends or circumstances, and you kind of like you get to that point 20 odd years later, and you're kind of like going, actually, where has that time gone? I could actually do something different now.
Right.
But then it's working out how you get your life purpose, from that.
Yeah,
So
but like you said, like for me, I mean, I was sort of doing what I'm supposed to do, but without realizing it. That could happen too. Many. I mean, I know this is more common in women than men. So we're so good at multitasking, right?
yeah,
I mean, and we can do multiple things very good all at the same time. And that's a blessing and a curse. The blessing is, hey, we can multitask, so we get a lot of things done, right? But the
yeah,
curse is, okay, we're so good at so many different things. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes we may omit or look over the things that we really truly is truly a gift to us. Like me, right? I thought I was good at multiple things. I thought I was good at something very close to what I do now,
yeah,
but still, the core of what my purpose is really storytelling, not producing, not directing, not writing, not all of these things. So sometimes it may take that extra step to realizing, hey, look at everything that you've done, and then realizing, wow, I have been actually doing this all along. I was just blind to it, not realizing it.
yeah. So I suppose it's kind of like you actually sitting down and maybe looking back as far back as you can remember going, and then what did you enjoy doing? What you lit you up, and then just plot that all the way through your life and see what common strands there are.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good bit. Of course, it's making that time to actually sit down and
And do it right.
yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
exactly. So do you think you were kind of like led along all the paths you were to get where you are now, or do you think that it was just you were in the right place at the right time, or that you know this was just how it worked in the industry?
No, it's definitely a path, because I don't think I'll be able to do the work that I do now if I didn't go through the trials and tribulations, right? Because if I were to start doing storytelling even 10 years ago, right? I wouldn't be I wouldn't be as good at it is now, because I had to go through my own journey to discover this for myself, so that I can help other people and businesses discover their story. And if
Yeah,
I got here too fast, right, without all that I've been through, then yes, I may still be able to help people do it, but probably not as fast
yeah,
and not as sharp. Because now when I do it, it doesn't take me very, very long at all. And I'll give you an example. So I was at a networking event last Thursday, and I wasn't even having a session with this girl. We were just talking. She was sitting across from me at the table, and she said, "Well, she's a full time school teacher, and she has a side hustle." And she said, "Well, yeah, I would, and she's a total believer in storytelling. I mean, she's a millennial, so all the millennials, they're very good at storytelling, right? It's like it's in them, you don't have to explain what it is. Older generation is like, wait, storytelling? Oh, so
yeah,
you read storybook? When I actually one time, I'll digress a little bit. So one
yeah.
time I was telling people, oh, I'm a award-winning storyteller. They said, oh, so you read stories to children at night?
I like it.
I know. I say no, not exactly. But anyway, so she's a total believer in storytelling. I don't have to explain. She said, well, but I'm having a hard time, with the story for my business. Um, she basically created this bracelet for her customers, and the bracelet idea came because when she was young, she's not very good at math, and she was told that because she's not good at it, she suck at it, and she'll never be good at math. Haven't we been told? I say, hey, that's me too.
Yeah. Yeah. I was no good at maths.
Right? Most of the girls, right? And she's like, yeah, but I didn't realize it's all about, mindset. Later when I got older, I realized, hey, I'm actually not so bad. I just need some extra hand holding and somebody to tell me that, hey, you can actually do it. We may need some tutoring or whatnot. It doesn't matter what it takes, but it's all mindset. It's because somebody told us that we're bad at it, then we carry that, then
Yeah.
we carry that all through our lives, thinking, oh my God, we're so bad at math. And she said, well, but I want to change that. I want to help girls realize, hey, I'm actually not bad at math. I'm actually quite good at it. So don't tell me I'm bad with math. So she created these bracelets, for girls, and she sells them to students, who wants them reminded, mostly to girls and boys too, if they need that. So, and then she said, well, but I don't quite know, how to really like take it to the next level. It's just a side hustle. I say, well, you know what? I agree with you, because how many bracelets can you sell? She said, exactly. Not a lot. I sell one at a time, but it's hard to just sell 20,
Yeah.
right? I say, well, you know what? Think about it. I want you to think a little bit differently, because in my opinion, you're not really selling bracelets. She goes, oh, I'm not? Then what am I selling? She said, "Oh my God, my head is spinning. I don't know. What am I selling? Like, tell me." So I said, "Well, you're actually selling a different relationship for girls with either math or whatever subject that they fell behind. They fall behind. So you're not selling bracelets. You are here to sell a different relationship for students who have trouble with whatever the subject matter is." And then she goes, oh, OMG again, right? Like, wow, you blew my mind. I never thought about it. I didn't realize it. And wow. So, I mean, this is just a very, quick example. So, going back to, if I didn't go through everything I went through, I don't think I'll be able to do it that quickly
Yeah.
with, people's business.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't, yeah, I wouldn't trade for anything, although it did take me this long, but everything happens for a reason. And I'm happy that I finally arrived.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the way you actually looked at what she was selling, and you actually looked beyond the actual physical um, product. Because yeah, I'm guessing we all do that. We kind of like, okay, so
This
this
is
is the
what we sell.
product, this is what I'm offering, this is the service, etc.
Yeah,
But really, we should be looking at what the story is around that and why we've created that thing.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the easiest way if somebody, if they're out there, to actually try and see beyond that actual product? Is it sort of like sitting back and looking back at what you've done over the past, or is it just sitting there just creating a story? What's the simple way that people can get that background story?
Well, it's very hard because we so close to our business, right? So I would say it's very challenging to take ourselves out of our business and to have that different perspective as an outsider, to take a bird's eye view, right, of the
Yeah,
business, and then figure out, oh, okay, well, this is not what you're selling. You're actually selling something else.
gotcha.
So I would suggest, you try to do as much as you can for yourself. But like I said, because we're so close to our business, it's usually very challenging to do that. And I needed somebody to do that with me as well,
Yeah,
even I'm good at it. So I would say find somebody you trust, and try to have a session with them, because it can totally change, the trajectory of your business. I mean, can you imagine, if how, like she said, right? It's hard to sell 20 bracelets, right? But if she's not selling that and she's selling a different relationship, can you imagine how many parents are willing to open their wallet and pay for that instead of,
Yeah.
oh, I'm selling you a $5 bracelet. Okay, whatever. Like, what does this do? Right? It's like it's hard to explain. Yeah, the bracelet is here to do this and this and that, but that's not really what she's selling. You see? So that's why I think if you can get behind and truly articulate what you sell, then you don't need to sell anymore.
Yeah.
Then the
That that
business sells itself.
that makes so much sense. Yeah, and even I've used other people to give me a bird's eye view of my business because yeah, sometimes you're just so close to it that you can't really see um, the finer detail or the bigger picture of the business as well.
Yeah,
So it is always worth finding someone that can actually oversee and look at where you're going with your or where your business is actually going and what story is behind it. Because, as you said,
exactly.
stories are so important in any business that you're running. Even the most an accountant, could still have a story.
Oh, you know what? I'll tell you an accountant story. So this guy, he he came to me because he said, okay, I have a pretty good, amount of clients, I have a good clientele, but I want to, expand a little, it never hurts to have more clients, and get different people from, different walks of life. But I have trouble getting people to talk to me at networking events. I said, okay, well, what have you been saying? He goes, well, I say I'm an accountant. I love numbers. I like helping people save money from Uncle Sam. I said, okay, that's all good. But don't you think every accountant says the same thing? He obviously hasn't thought about it. He goes, oh yeah, you're probably right. Then what should I say? I say, yeah, we need a different story. That story. No wonder people, don't, because that the story is not engaging.
No.
You're not encouraging any conversation. It's very kind of dry and boring. He said, yeah, every time when I say that, people kind of like slowly, like,
Yeah,
okay,
walk
bye.
away. Nice to meet you.
So I said, okay, all right, let's get to work. Let's figure out what your story is. So I started talking to him and I gave him a bunch of questions, to answer. And every answer he gave me was very like generic and nothing special, nothing I could really use. So I started digging into, his life. So I said, well, do you have anything memorable, any clients memorable that you can tell me, anything special? No, they're all pretty good clients. None of my clients have been audited, so nothing stood out. He said, okay, well, what about, let's go back. Um, what about your college years? Anything extraordinary happened? I mean, it can be happy, it can be sad, it can be just different. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is, but there has to be a story behind this. No, pretty basic. Exactly, right? Just like his previous pitch. Pretty basic, nothing special. Um, no, nothing really stood out. I don't know what to tell you. I said, okay, well, what about high school? Anything in high school that you can think of? No, I have a pretty good upbringing. My parents are pretty normal. I say, man, this is a challenging case. And I said, okay, all right, let's go back some more. What about when you were a kid? Think harder. Did anything happen at all that, you know, that maybe maybe it's buried deep inside your memory that you never talked about? I mean, there's bound to be something that you probably have forgotten and you know, never brought it to the surface. So I said, we're not going to quit until you tell me a good story. So I let him sit there. And after a long time, he finally said, well, you know what? There's a, actually, there's an incident when I was about 7 or 9. My father was audited And I remember standing there as a boy, watching him pacing back and forth the room, trying to get his paperwork ready. Because obviously the dad didn't have anything ready to go. So, and all of us were seeing him completely stressed out, but we couldn't help him because we didn't know how to help him. So we felt completely helpless. And he was driving everybody crazy because he, he
Yeah.
was trying to get everything ready. And I remember that moment. But you were right. I never talked about it because I didn't think it was significant. I say, wow, that is why you're an accountant. He said, oh yeah, oh really? I say, yeah, because subconsciously
Mm.
you witness how your father dealt with it. And subconsciously you already decided that, oh my God, I'm gonna do that when I grow up, because obviously he wanted to be the hero for his dad. And now he gets to be the hero for his clients, because he's gonna make sure that even if his clients get audited, none of them would have to go through what his father went through. You see? So all the people who are worried about getting audited will be his perfect clients.
Yeah.
You see? So that's really his clientele. But he never told that story. He just kept it buried inside, never talked about it, totally forgot about it. So now when he goes to events or when he talks to people, he shares his childhood story, and he tells people, this is why I became an accountant and a CPA, because I don't want you to have to go through what my father went through. It was very painful to watch.
Yeah.
So that's the accountant story because
So
you
so
brought up accountant.
so accountants can have stories.
Exactly. It
I
doesn't
do,
matter what you do.
yeah, I do apologise for any accountants out there. I do know some interesting accountants. So I'm just generalising on accountants
Yeah.
and that. Um, so yeah, so it's really good that you can kind of like draw that information out of people, even going all the way back to get a story as to why they're doing or what they should be doing. So even if they don't know what they should be doing, by
Hmm.
drawing out stuff from their youth, from their childhood, etc., could actually give them a reason to do something.
Absolutely. And I see that the comment was asking, is he still in business? Yeah, he's still in business. This story is actually not that old, it's just a few years old. And we were absolutely, in a tea break when I gave him time to, when I gave him time to like dig deep.
There you go. Graham says that one could be a book film.
Maybe we will see.
That'd be so. How did you come up with the name for your business?
Duck Punk?
Mm.
Well, there's a story behind everything, right? So back in 2000, I was trying to find a name for my company, and I was at this park, and this park has a lake. And I was feeding, there were a bunch of ducks in that lake just swimming, and I was feeding all the ducks with breadcrumbs. So one duck who had a mohawk, just like my logo, he was, get to the food right away, try to eat everything. And after 40 minutes, as I was leaving, I would, still throw something in the lake as I was walking away. And all the other ducks were just like hanging out, not bothering to charge the food, and just sitting there. And he would still charge over to get to the food. So as I was walking away, I kept looking at him thinking, wow, you've been eating this whole time, really. How much more can you eat? You're just a little duck. Like really. Every time I felt something that he was still charge over to get to it. So I thought, wow, how come you're so hungry? You haven't eaten for days or something? So, and that night I went home and I just couldn't shake that image off my head. So I started playing with the word punk rock, punk dog, mohawk. And then 6 weeks later, I decided to name my company Duck Punk. But that's half of the story, because years later, he became my inspiration. As a woman, minority, working in the entertainment and advertising business, it's a very cutthroat, very
Mm.
challenging, very competitive industry. So I had to remind myself that every time I come across a hurdle, I have to not give up and be like him, to always go for after what I want. So he became my inspiration. So that's my duck punk story.
Wow, that is brilliant. I love that story. That is
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah, brilliant, way, of coming up with a business name. And Graham says whole new
I
meaning
know.
to
I had no idea at the time. I just thought I wanted a funky name because I wanted the name to be memorable.
yeah,
So, and at the time I thought, okay, well, duck punk is funky enough. Hopefully people will remember. So that was my purpose at the time. But without noticing, I mean, without realizing, years later, actually, I have to, I have to draw, from his inspiration. I have to be like him. He became my model.
yeah. No, I think that is absolutely, brilliant. And the fact, that there's actually a story, behind the business name, that is really, really, good. And Graham says, a hurdle becomes another level, not a drop on the other side.
Yeah, totally. Agree.
Yeah. Well, that's brilliant. So, as you know, I do angel oracle card readings and guided meditation. So each week, I like to ask my guests what they would like me to do for themselves and those watching. So, Mellissa, would you like me to pull an angel oracle card or to do a mini guided meditation?
Let's pull a card then because I meditate on my own anyway.
Okay, perfect.
I
Let's
always
let's
like surprises.
okay. Let's see what the cards have got in
Yes, I
store.
love it.
Okay, so Um, now, as people know, when I do the cards, I don't actually do the cards to predict the future, um, and I don't use them to the past. So even though I work with past life regression, I do when I work with past life regression, I do it so that we know what we need to heal to be in our current time. And when I work with future life progression, we know where we're going, what we're doing, so we can bring that back to the present time. So the cards are always
Absolutely.
what we need to
Yes.
know, in the present. Um, so let's just see what Mellissa and everyone watching, including Graham, needs to know for their highest good at this moment in time. Okay, we're going with that one. Okay, so we have got fogged in, go slow, take time.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
It
Uh-huh.
it is. So it's kind of like, saying that even if things seem to be a little bit foggy
Right.
and not quite sure on where the journey's going at the moment, it doesn't mean that it's not going anywhere. It
Right.
just means you have to actually bring the oars up and just go slow and take time to
Mm-hmm.
actually really put things in place.
Mm.
And then as soon as the time is ready, the fog will actually clear and things will move
Right.
forward a lot faster than they're
Yes.
actually doing it now. So it's don't give up. It's kind of like, just go slow, take your time, rethink, and move yourself forward. Um, yeah, that's kind of
Yeah, it's
like.
actually quite perfect at the moment.
Yeah, and I think it is for a lot of people. And again, the story, the narrative has been, we're all in kind of like being a little bit, not sure where I'm going, what
Right,
I'm
with the
doing.
pandemic, right? We have to put a lot of pauses, on our lives. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, but it's getting there, and we just have to bide our time, to do that. So I'm glad that makes sense, to you. The
Yeah,
cards
it
all the
does.
cards always, make sense, and that's not just for Mellissa. That is for everyone watching as well. Um, and Graham says clarity of thought is needed before intention becomes reality.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I agree. Yes.
Yeah. And of course, the story again that you create and you tell can become reality. So if you take your time on that story, it will be the perfect reality for you, in the future. So yeah, I quite like that cards come
Mm-hmm.
out. So Mellissa, do you have any insights or thoughts to leave our viewers?
I would say, um, I truly believe that we all here for a reason. We all have a purpose to fill. And even if it doesn't seem like it at the moment, so I want to go back to my quote, right? You
Mm.
know, if we truly live our purpose, we're really here to use our gift to help other people. And you may be doing it already, like me, or you may not be doing it. I don't know, but everyone is here for a reason. You're here for purpose, and when you feel like you are truly living your purpose, it would not feel like work anymore. Like when I do storytelling, I get so much energy out of it. I get totally energized, a lot more so than just shooting a TV commercial, right? I mean, I used to get very energized on set. When I'm on set, I come alive and I run around and do things, and I get excited. But now when I'm working, one on one, with people, or one in a room with a company, I still I get even more excited and more energy, get more energy, because you know because I'm truly living my purpose. So there's small hints and ways you can look for those things. So when you feel like your heart is completely open, you have so much joy and peace and love coming out from your heart, and and you get so energized and so excited about it, then maybe you already are doing what you're supposed to do, even without realizing it. You know, yeah. So look for those hints, and if you're not there yet, keep going. You'll get there someday, because we'll all get there, one way or the other.
Ex-
So
ex- exactly. Go slow. Take your time. Uh,
exactly, take your time. We'll all get there eventually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, there, and that was brilliant. So thank you so much. So I hope everyone that you've enjoyed this conversation and found it insightful, as I know I have. So Mellissa, if people want to connect with you, how do they do that?
I'm very easy to find. I'm on the internet. They can either Google my name. My name is spelled with two L's and two S's, so Mellissatong, or they can go to my website, www.dakpunk.net.
Excellent. Yep, and nobody's going to forget their that business name at all. Dunk Punk, because you're going to think about it's a duck eating. You becoming a stuffed duck.
Hey, we all got to eat, right? So
Exactly, exactly, exactly. So, thank you very much, Mellissa, for sharing your wisdom, and thank you so much for everyone who's watched and joined in with the conversation. And of course, if you have reached that crossroads in your life and you need some guidance in finding the meaning of your life and getting clear on your path, then I would love to be that guide for you. So, please feel free to reach out and connect with me, and we can arrange a free 20 to 30-minute video call to help you gain clarity on where you are going and how you can empower yourself to take charge of your destiny. And please feel free to join my weekly newsletter and receive a free Future Life Progression recording, where I take you into a future lifetime to get guidance and clarity that you can use in your current life, as well as a few other gifts. And Jackie says, thank you. And Graham says, awesome show, lady. Hugs. And hugs to everyone, and that includes all those that are watching, even those watching on the replay. So, talking of the replay, thank you so much for watching, and I'd like to invite you to share this video, as I'm sure there are many more women who feel lost and want to get clear on their destiny, just like you. And of course, if you are watching this on YouTube, then please feel free to subscribe and hit the bell button. Be notified when the show goes live, or I post new guided meditations, and look forward to you all joining me same time, same place again next week. Again, thank you, Mellissa, and thank you everyone for watching. And I'll see you next week. Bye.
bye.